Right now at noon, a battle over creating a board of directors for a Carthage-owned utility service.
And we've got a few storms out to our west, but they've really hit a brick wall. The rest of us still hot and somewhat cloudy. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And rescue crews hear sounds at the bottom of the ocean. The latest on the search for the missing Titanic explorers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Board members for the Carthage Water and Electric Plant are fighting back after the Carthage City Council decides to remove them from their positions. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the City Council's decision to eliminate an entire board of directors. Now, the Carthage City Council held an emergency meeting last Thursday to remove the Carthage Water and Electric board members from their positions. According to the council, the board violated a city ordinance that regulates the board's authority to create employee positions and assign salaries. On Monday, the board members released a statement saying they believe the decision was unlawful and that they will remain in their positions. A proposed constitutional amendment to restore abortion rights in Missouri will move forward. On Tuesday, a judge ended a standoff between 2 Republican officials that had halted the process. The judge ordered Attorney General Andrew Bailey to approve fellow Republican Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick's estimated $51,000 price tag on the proposal within 24 hours. Bailey argued it would cost the state as much as $1 million times more because of lost Medicaid funding or revenue that would not be collected from people who otherwise would be born. If approved by voters, the proposal would enshrine in the state constitution the individual right to make decisions about abortion, childbirth, and birth control. Well, Kansas officials have agreed not to enforce a new restriction on medication abortions. The restrictions will not be enforced for at least 5 weeks. A state court judge will eventually decide a lawsuit challenging the restriction and other existing rules. For now, providers do not have to tell patients that they can stop a medication abortion using a regimen that providers and major medical groups consider unproven and potentially dangerous. The new rule was set to take effect July 1st. Well, we've got a bit of cloud cover outside today, but if you thought that would help with the heat, think again. Chris Warner joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tanya. Despite the cloud cover, we're still heating up out there, unless you're lucky enough to get some rain showers, but unfortunately, the majority of us, no rain in sight. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. You can see some cloud cover out there, but still some sunlight as we're starting to get the leading edge of those clouds out there. And same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. I wanted to show you the Skywatch storm tracker. So here's the activity. You may remember this morning we had that good line of storms out here just west of Wichita. The better part of that line has actually managed to surge on off to the south and east, getting ready to roll into Tulsa. Some of it just rolled through Oklahoma City. No severe weather with this, but they definitely don't need any strong thunderstorms. And we can look back at how all of this came to be and then take a look right at Elk and Chautauqua County. What did we say all morning? It's like it hit a brick wall. It's not really advancing much further west, and it's just kind of dying out right there at that line, and that's just about what we were thinking it was going to do. Yesterday started at 66, so right about average. Made it up to 90, a little bit above average, but not that far off. Unfortunately, our rainfall total is not looking so great. Now, Sedan, for example, just starting to get into some rain, had that cloud cover. They're a little cooler, 79. But for the rest of us, not under cloud cover, not getting any rain, it's hot. 87 in Carthage, Joplin, 85 Oswego, 86 Miami, 85 Pittsburgh, 85 Chanute, and 84 in Parsons. So it's still pretty hot. Temperatures will continue to warm. There are some additional rain chances in our future, and we'll take a look at that full forecast here in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Chris. With time running out, there is a glimmer of hope in the search for a missing submersible with 5 people on board. Rescue crews have detected underwater noises. The vessel was on its way to view the wreck of the Titanic when it disappeared. Roxana Sabiri reports from Boston, where crews are coordinating the search.
The U.S. Coast Guard confirms that a Canadian aircraft detected underwater noises in the search area. Crews have refocused their efforts on trying to pinpoint where those noises are coming from.
It's a target, it's a focus for us to look at.
U.S.-based OceanGate Expeditions operated the voyage, which takes tourists to the famous Titanic shipwreck in the North Atlantic Ocean. OceanGate CEO and founder Stockton Rush is among those on board. In an interview with CBS Sunday Morning last year, Rush defended the safety of the submersible.
The pressure vessel is not MacGyver at all, because that's where we work with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
According to 2018 court filings, a former OceanGate employee said he was fired after voicing concerns about the Titan, saying it posed potential danger to passengers. But in court documents filed this April, OceanGate said the vessel was capable of diving the depth to the Titanic site with a comfortable safety margin.
You know going in how very dangerous this is.
Mike Reese traveled on the Titan almost a year ago.
No one walks into this surprised. Before you even get on, you sign this long waiver that mentions possible death 3 times on the first page.
As for those underwater noises that were detected, the U.S. Coast Guard says data from the Canadian aircraft has been shared with U.S. Navy experts for more analysis and will be used in the search efforts. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Boston.
The Coast Guard said 3 search vessels arrived on scene Wednesday morning, including the John Cabot, which has side-scanning sonar capabilities. Well, NASA launches what it calls a new era in Earth science with a fleet of state-of-the-art satellites to create a comprehensive 4D view of the Earth. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson opened the Earth Information Center in Washington, D.C. The center will combine new information with 5 decades of data about the Earth's land, water, ice, and atmosphere to help people respond to climate change.
Bring it all together in a user-friendly way, and then don't just display it in one physical location, but make it available to everybody virtually.
Well, visitors to the exhibit will see a 22-foot hyperwall with real-time data aimed at providing leaders with the information they need to make decisions in our ever-changing environment. A whole body virtual reality suit is opening doors to multiple possibilities. Besides boosting your VR experience, creators say it can help film directors plan movement with actors. On the health front, it could even help a person with Parkinson's disease. The so-called MetaSuit is built with artificial muscles that expand and contract with a tiny electric current. Developers say you can feel a bird land on your arm, and you could be on Mars, and the experience feels real. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, the world today celebrates an ancient practice over 5,000 years in the making. And later, we're making summer's best slaw in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. Use yoga to be happy, healthy, and kind. That's what India's Prime Minister told a group of people stretching outside the United Nations in New York today. Now they're celebrating International Yoga Day, and so are millions of others around the world. Riley Carlson reports.
From down in the park to high in the mountains, even on an aircraft carrier with the country's defense minister, India is celebrating the benefits of yoga.
With all my stress of the day, I'm relieved of that because of doing yoga.
The ancient practice started over 5,000 years ago in northern India. It focuses on breathing, flexibility, and strength to boost mental and physical well-being. Stretching with dogs, balancing on a boat, and inside a train. Poses are even practiced underwater. It feels great to practice in the water, says this participant. India's Prime Minister has flown around the world promoting the practice, even lobbying the UN to first mark International Yoga Day 9 years ago. It's one of the country's most successful cultural exports. Riley Carlson, CBS News, London.
The UN resolution establishing the International Day of Yoga in 2014 was proposed by India and endorsed by a record of 175 member states. Wow. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr.
Need
Food.
something to bring to a family shindig or a backyard bash? We have a go-along that goes along with everything. Everything.
But first, we've got a couple of thunderstorms out there this afternoon, but better rain chances heading into the weekend. We'll look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So, as we had talked about the last couple of days, we've specifically mentioned Elk and Chautauqua counties for rain. Well, here we are, the noon hour, Elk and Chautauqua counties getting some rain. And right now, they're about the only ones getting any kind of precipitation in our area. However, there have been a few minor changes to the forecast. We're going to talk about those in just a moment. First, let's look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So, Elk, Chautauqua counties, there's the rain from a system that really hasn't done much for us, because when we put this in a loop, you're going to see that it hit a brick wall essentially and is not really advancing much past this. So the cloud cover is advancing past that, but not the rain, unfortunately. So let's take a look back. This was all a nice batch of strong, even severe thunderstorms across parts of Kansas. The stronger portion survived and surged southeastward, but watch this portion. It surges and look at it. As soon as it hits the Elk, Chautauqua County area, it just dies. It stops and it doesn't go any further. And unfortunately, that's going to mean, like we've been saying, that we won't see that much rain outside of that. But a couple of changes have occurred. There's a couple of different thinkings on what's going to happen through the rest of the afternoon. For example, this future track, see, look at 3 o'clock. A couple of pop-up storms out there. One version of the future track shows some additional development in parts of southeast Kansas later this evening, and another says that that's not going to happen. So we'll keep an eye on this, but we could see a few additional stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder across a slightly wider area of southeast Kansas into northeast Oklahoma, bringing some more of that much needed rainfall. And then we go into our Thursday, and we're watching the possibility, it's a slim one, of some additional thunderstorms out there. So we like these changes because it adds rain chances to our forecast. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. We've got some sun, we've got some clouds. You can see them here from our camera at the KOAM studios just north of Crestline. Some clouds, some sun out there as we're right on the leading edge of those clouds from those thunderstorms out to the west. So sun trying to get through, but clouds increasing. We're at 87 in Joplin, feels like 88 because again, the dew point's up there. The humidity dropped, but not the dew point. So that's why it's not oppressive, but it's uncomfortable to say the least. 85 in Pittsburgh. Now this is reporting a wind chill of 84, but we know that's not the case out there. Dew point, same, up there, humidity down. And you look out west, those cooler temperatures where they've been dealing with the rain. And Sedan, at least in our area, the coolest spot at 79 because they've had the cloud cover starting to get that rain. Otherwise, we've got 83 Iola, 84 Fort Scott, 86 Miami, 85 Neosho, and up to 87 in Carthage. For the majority of us, still looking at those highs, upper 80s, low 90s, some stray showers, maybe a rumble of thunder out to our west, and maybe a little further into parts of southeast Kansas. Those will wrap up around midnight, 1 a.m. out there, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies and going into the upper 60s for our overnight lows. Now we're looking at mostly sunny skies for tomorrow and highs upper 80s, but we do have that possibility of a stray storm or two as we head into our Thursday. So we've added a 20% chance there'll be pop-up storms, but at least it's there. As we head into our Friday, some additional evening pop-up storms possible. Lower 90s return heading into the weekend. And heading into the weekend, we're looking at maybe some evening scattered storms on Saturday, and then we'll get morning storms Sunday. We'll take a break in the afternoon and have additional scattered storms in the evening Sunday. Low, then mid, then upper 90s toward the end of next week with at least one more round of at least a slight chance for some additional rainfall. So unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of good rain chances out there, but we do have some, and rain chances aside, temperatures as we head into next week really heating up. Of course, today, the first official day of summer, and it's really getting here.
And the longest day of the year as well.
It is indeed. It's going to make it harder for you and I to go to sleep.
Well, doesn't take much.
That's true.
When I get the opportunity, I can sleep. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making summer's best slaw after the break. Looking for the perfect coleslaw recipe to bring to a family shindig or a backyard bash? Well, Howard shows us how to make summer's best slaw in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If your family is getting together this weekend, or you're invited to a backyard barbecue, and you're supposed to bring something, I have an idea. Why not bring a go-along that will go along with everything? Plus, it's super colorful, goes together in minutes, and is quite tasty. We start by mixing a bag of pre-shredded coleslaw mix with some celery, which gives it lots of crunch. And to make sure we have the most colorful dish on the table, we add a good amount of red and yellow peppers that we've chopped. Now for the secret ingredient that gives this dish just the right amount of wow, we add a chopped jalapeno pepper. And when we toss this with our dressing, which is simply some brown sugar dissolved in bottled Italian dressing, get ready for a side dish that is going to be the star of any get-together. What makes this so good is the combo of the sweet and savory dressing, along with the kick you get from all the peppers, combined with all the crunch. To get the recipe, all you need to do is head over to our website and type in Summer's Best Slaw. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a colorful and crunchy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
All right, so we've got those thunderstorms out in Elk and Chautauqua County. That's where these are really going to stay, but we could see a few scattered storms in parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma later tonight. Not much out there, but some. And then some pop-up storms possible tomorrow and again on Friday. Low 90s return heading into the weekend, and some scattered storm chances as we head into the weekend as well. So not a complete washout, but some scattered rain out there.
All right, well, hopefully we can get some because we definitely need it.
We do need that rain.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, it's Family Advocacy Day, and Health Watch, how a young double organ transplant recipient is using her voice to help others. Plus, we'll hear from a Pittsburgh woman who reported animal abuse and is now in fear of retaliation. And a lawsuit filed against a Labette County judge who's accused of creating a hostile environment. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.